Is it recording? The microphone is working? Yes, pretty nice. Hello everybody, how are you doing? That's Allison here. Hello you from English 360 as well. This is a class that I am going to post on YouTube, but this is a class that we have on our immersion platform, English 360. Of course, you can see that the movie we have today is The Lord of the Rings. A masterpiece, very nice. I love this movie. And this class is going to happen 100% in English. Why, Allison? Because all the classes in the intermediate area we have there in our platform, all the classes there work 100% in English. Of course, we use one or two translations, yes, sometimes it helps us, sometimes it makes the process easier and it's easier to make the connection, yeah, but we try to keep it 100% in English, at least as much as possible, right? The process is pretty much the same, the methodology is pretty much the same. We're going to watch it, but instead of translating all the lines, we're going to talk about the lines and we're going to try to define the words and etc, etc, etc. Try to give some examples. And anyway, you're going to see along the class how the class works there. If you prefer, you can turn on the subtitles. You know, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can turn on either Portuguese or English subtitles, or you can just watch it 100% in English with no subtitles. That's going to be nice as well. It's up to you, okay? As the methodology is the same, let me just change the size of my face here. Okay, that's nice. The methodology is pretty much the same. We're going to watch the video. We're going to watch this scene one time. It's, I think, 1.5 minutes here. It's pretty short. We're going to watch this scene one time. And after this, we're going to start talking about the lines to try to understand it better. All right, let's do that. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to play. 1 second. There we go. Let's go.
I can't do this. I know.
I'll just start over because the volume was too low.
I can't do this, Sam. I know. It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. This shadow, even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you. That meant something. Even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
My precious. Yes, that's Frodo's speech. Amazing, right? Yes, this little hobbit. I'm going to just change the cameras here, put it a little bit bigger, and we're going to start our study right now. Try to understand everything that's going on in this scene line by line. It's basically Frodo talking, right? But there are two lines from Sam. I forgot, from Frodo. It's basically Sam talking, but there are, no, I'm confused now. Oh, I confused. I mistook the name of the hobbits. Sam is a chubby, and Frodo is the one with the ring, yes? So it's basically Sam speaking, so it's not Frodo's speech. It's Sam's speech. And there are two lines of Frodo. I am sorry. All the names here I put Frodo's speech, but it's not Frodo's speech. I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry. Anyway, let's do that. Well, first line of Frodo, he says, I can't do this, Sam. Frodo is lying down. He's sitting down, right? And he looks tired. He looks like exhausted. He looks like he lost a battle or something. He's pretty tired. And then he says, I can't do this, Sam. I can't do this, Sam. And then Sam answers him, I know. It's all wrong. I know it's all wrong. And then he says this, by rights, we shouldn't even be here. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. By rights, it's like an idiom. And it means, take a look here. By right means according to what's fair, just, or expected. So, if the life was fair, we shouldn't even be here. The right thing, in a perfect world, we shouldn't even be here, So, according to what's fair. Assim, ó, in Portuguese would be something like, o certo seria nós nem estarmos aqui, nós nem mesmo estarmos aqui. We shouldn't even be here. Nós não deveríamos. I'm sorry. So by rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. By rights. By rights. So I'm going to play. He speaks a little bit fast. Okay? Pay attention to that. Let's do that.
I can't do this, Sam. I know. It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are.
Yeah, this one is fast, right? By rights, we shouldn't even be here. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. By rights, we shouldn't. It's fast, right? But if you play it sometimes, your ear is going to catch it. Try to look at the subtitles here and then play it sometimes, go back the video here sometimes, and then try to look to the scene here after this and try to, listen to the scene, just looking at him. With time, your ear will get used to this, okay? Don't worry. And here he says, I can't do this, with this kind of a British accent or something. I can't do this. I know it's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here, but we are, he says. And then he starts. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Great, it's like big. It's like in the big, in the good, the big and good stories, the great story. It's like, so it's similar to, it's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the stories that really mattered. And then we have here the verb matter, and it's quite simple. If something matters, something is important. Let's check it out. So, matter is to be important or to affect what happens, Yes, this matters a lot to me. My family matters a lot to me. It's important, right? So the stories that were important were because it's past, okay? The past of the verb matter is mattered. Don't forget, we don't pronounce this letter E. We go directly to the letter D. Mattered. Okay? The E is there when we write, but it's not there when we speak. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. It's poetic. You can see that everything here is old-fashioned. I mean, not everything, but the language they use, it's poetic, it's archaic, it's old-fashioned, it's very poetic, you see? Full of darkness and danger they were. It looks like, what's the name of the green guy from Star Wars? This one, yes, I forgot his name. He speaks like he changes the order of the words, the sentences. Here, it's exactly the same. So take a look. Cheio de escuridão e perigo, elas eram. Yeah, they changed the order. It looks like him. Oh, I forgot his name. What's the name of the green guy from Star Wars? Jesus. I forgot. You know the name. I just forgot here. I don't know why. But anyway, full of darkness and danger they were. They who? The stories, right? The stories again. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end because how could the end be happy? How could the end be happy? Sometimes you didn't want to know the end of this story because you know that the story is so bad that the end will be bad as well. Sometimes you didn't want to know the end because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was? Go back to the way it was. Go back to normal. Okay? Go back to normal. The way it was before. Yeah? Before it was normal. It was good. It was happy. So, how could the world go back to normal? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? He's talking about these great stories. The great stories, a lot of bad things happens, and sometimes you don't want to know the end of the story because you know that it was so bad, the story, so many bad things happen in the story. It's hard for the world to go back to the way it was, for the world to go back to normal. Can you understand what he's saying here? Let's listen to all these lines in here. Pay attention to the subtitles.
It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened?
Two things here, right? He says, the end. You didn't want to know the end. You're gonna listen. You're gonna go back and listen to it sometimes, and you're going to pay attention to that. Go back to the way it was. Go back to the way it was. It's not it. It was the way it was. The way it was. The way it was. Here, when so much bad happened, it's very, very, very subtle. It's very hard to see, to listen to get this head here. It's very subtle. Very subtle, very, very difficult to listen to. Okay, very difficult to hear. Sorry. So go back, listen to that sometimes, pay attention to the subtitles sometimes, pay attention to the scene sometimes, try to look at the scene and just, listen to that and try to understand. If you don't understand, go here to the subtitles, check the subtitles, and then go back and try to get after checking. Do this actively. You have to do this if you want to improve your listening skills. That's just up to you. I can't do this too many times because I don't know what's more difficult for you. You have to focus on what's more difficult for you. Okay? Then the scene changes and a guy says, "Victory, we have victory." So it's a random guy there. "Victory, we have victory." And then here, Sam continues. But in the end of this story, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. He's saying that all the shadow here is the representation of the bad things. Of course, shadow, right? Shadow. Let me put it here. It's an area of darkness caused by light being blocked by something, okay? There is your body, the sun here. So on the ground, you will see the shadow, a sombra, right? But here, the shadow is the representation of all the bad things that were happening in these great stories Sam was mentioning, okay? So he says here that in the end, this shadow, these bad things, is just something that will pass. We will get through. We will go through this situation, and at the end, the shadow, the bad, will not be there anymore. But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. What is must? Must is a modal verb, but let's check it here. Must, used to show that is necessary or very important that something happens in the present or the future. So it's necessary, it's important, so it's necessary, must pass. We can think about something very similar to even darkness has to pass. Yeah, it's very similar, the translation. Tem que, deve. So must represents it. Must pass. Right? Must pass, sorry. Even darkness must pass. Victory, we have victory. But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come. A new day will arrive. And when the sun shines, when the sun bright, it's bright in the sky, shines is like brilha, literally. When the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. Here, it's a very, very complicated thing to understand, even for the ones that know a lot of English. Why? Because as I was telling you before, this scene is there's a lot of poetic stuff here. Okay, a lot of poetic, archaic, and old-fashioned stuff. And this is one phrase that is very poetic and old-fashioned. Let me show you here. Shine out the clearer. Let's make this sentence easier. It is an old-fashioned or poetic way of saying shine more clearer, right? Back then, it was very common to change the for more. To change more for the. So more clearer would become the clearer. More clearer, mais claro, mais claramente, would become, in the old English, let's call it like that, the clearer. So it's weird. It's very weird. It's hard to understand. Don't try to understand. Just understand it's old English and the representation is shine more clear. So let's translate this full sentence just to make this sentence very clear, okay? E quando o sol brilha, ou quando o sol brilhar, ele vai brilhar mais claro. Entende? É como se it's like he wants to say something like, when the shadow goes away, the normal will be even better. the normal would be even better. So when the sun shines, it will look like an amazing stuff. It will shine more clear. So again, when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something. Those were the stories, these great stories were the stories that stayed with you in your memory, stayed with you in your memory with you, that meant something. So take a look here. The verb mean has a lot of meanings. And one of them is to have an important emotional effect on someone. To have importance, okay? So it's important. Those were the stories that stayed in your memory, and it was important for you. Okay, another example with mean. My family means a lot to me. My family is important to me. So means is like significam. Isso significa muito. Então essas histórias significavam alguma coisa. That meant something. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something. Now, let's take a look here. All these lines. Pay attention to the subtitles here. I'm gonna play 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
But in the end, it's only a passing thing. This shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something.
That meant something. Amazing, right? Go back, do the exercises, take a look at this, the scene one more time, and when you don't understand, come back here, check what you didn't understand, and then watch the scene again. Only you can do that for you. All right, do that. It's important. It's very important that you do that, and you make your ears more familiar with the sounds and stuff. Okay, let's move on here. 3 more lines. Even if you were too small to understand why. Okay, so the stories stayed in your memory, stayed in your heart. They were important for you, even if you were too small to understand why the stories was important. You know, when a story is important to you, sometimes you don't understand the full story, because you are too small, your intelligence, it's too small. But even though you understand that the story is important, it means something for you. So even if you were too small to understand the reason, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. If I say I understand or I do understand, it doesn't change the meaning. The meaning is the same, but do gives some sort of emphasis. I do understand. Oh, yeah, I really understand. I know now. Okay, again, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back. Only they didn't. There's more here, okay? Folk, what is folk? Folk is people, okay? People. Let me put it here so you can see. Folk is basically people. It's a way to say people. So a specific group of people, I would say, okay, but it's people. Folk in those stories, people in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, of go back home. You know, they are fighting the evil and they are going through bad stuff. They have chances of coming back to their houses, turning back and, stop fighting. That's what he meant here. Had lots of chances of turning back. Only they didn't. And only here is like but, they had lots of chances of turning back, but they didn't. I put it here exactly like but. Let's check it out. But in Portuguese only works because only é só, right? Somente. So let's translate it fully. As pessoas nessas histórias tinham muitas chances de voltarem, de simplesmente pararem de lutar, somente não fizeram. Só não fizeram, ok? You see, you can translate it literally, but it works like a but. Mas não fizeram, mas não voltaram, ok? Only they didn't, but they didn't, okay? Just go up until the end. Let me see. It's in here. We're going to be able to see everything. Yes, so we can go up until the end. They kept going. What is to keep going? To keep going is to continue. Yeah? They continued. Okay, it's here. Take a look. Continue. They kept going. They continue. Instead of turning back, they kept going. They continued because they were holding on to something. What is to hold on to? When you hold on to something, you grab that and you keep there. Take a look. Let's see what we have as definition here. To make yourself continue to what you are doing or stay where you are, although it's difficult or unpleasant. So the situation is unpleasant. What you are doing is unpleasant. It's difficult. It's very difficult. But you don't give up. You stay doing there. You hold on to what you are doing. You hold on to that, okay? So it's like você se agarra. Você fica, você continua. Even if it's difficult, you stay, okay? Because they were holding on to something. Estavam agarrados a alguma coisa. And then Frodo asks, what are we holding on to, Sam? Because they are in the middle, they are in a great story. They are in the middle of a bad situation. They can turn back. And then Frodo says they kept going because they were holding on to something. And then Frodo asks, what we are holding on to, Sam? What is important for us? No que a gente está agarrado? What's important for us, Sam? And then Sam goes with his last sentence, that there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. It's worth fighting for. That's a very nice structure. Take a look here, people. When something is worth doing, so you have it's worth, and then you have a verb plus ing at the end. So it's to be important or useful to have or to do, right? So it's worth fighting for. It's like we say, vale a pena. It's worth fighting for. Vale a pena lutar por, né? Por what? Of this good in this world. It's worth buying. Vale a pena comprar. It's worth studying. Vale a pena estudar. It's worth watching. Vale a pena assistir. And so on. Okay, that's a very nice structure to know and to learn. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to watch these lines here from here up until the end. I'm gonna pay attention to the subtitles here. Let's go.
Even if you are too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
My precious. Let's do the following. We're going to watch 2 times. One time now, the full scene with subtitles. The last time without subtitles, and then we finish this class. Okay, let's do that. 1, 2, 3. Pay attention to the subtitles here. Let's go.
I can't do this, Sam. I know. It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. This shadow, even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? But there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
Pretty beautiful. Now we're going to watch one more time without subtitles to see if now you can understand it a little bit better, shall we? Let's go. Last time to finish this class.
I can't do this, Sam. I know. It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. This shadow, even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? But there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. and it's worth fighting for.
That's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this class. Don't forget that only watching, only learning will not make you remember it forever. So you have exercises to do. I mean, I'm talking to the folks from English 360 now on YouTube. You don't know all the techniques, but if you want to check, first link here down below, you're gonna have 1 month free to test our English immersion platform. But for you that's watching it on English 360, you know you have all your techniques to apply, Anki to use, you know that you have things to do after the class, so you can remember everything in the long run. All right, I hope you enjoyed. Again, I see you on the next episode, and peace out.